Scott, thank you. New at noon, attorneys for Damien Echols, one of the West Memphis Three, are filing a lawsuit against the West Memphis Police Department. Echols, along with Jason Baldwin and Jesse Miskelly, were charged and convicted of the murders of 3 boys back in 1994, even though no DNA evidence ever proved they were guilty. After spending nearly 20 years in prison, the men walked free on an Alford plea in 2011, allowing them to maintain their innocence. This new lawsuit claims the West Memphis Police Department has not complied with multiple Freedom of Information Act requests asking for information and evidence. Echols has said he believes the department could have destroyed the evidence that could prove his innocence. We recently spoke with him on the 10th anniversary of his release.
I know to the core of my soul that the only reason the state did not murder me and sweep this case under the rug was because people all over the world were paying attention to it.
THV11 has also reached out to the West Memphis Police Department multiple times with no response. Echols' attorney says if the evidence is never found, they could seek damages from the state. Now let's get to the latest on COVID-19 in Arkansas. The latest numbers show it is possible we're seeing the first signs of a post-Labor Day weekend surge, but we also see some positive trends. So let's jump right into those numbers. With just under 2,500 cases reported on Thursday, that is the highest one-day jump we have seen all week. This could be a result of the holiday weekend. However, it's worth noting we were at these levels before the holiday. Quite frankly, it's still too early to know for sure the cause of that. How about some positive news now? Hospitalizations are down in Arkansas for the 4th time in 5 days. Ventilator use is also down this afternoon. That orange line toward the bottom of your screen there, it shows the gradual decrease. President Joe Biden announced tough new measures Thursday in the fight against COVID-19. And as Skylar Henry reports this afternoon, the president says the political fight against coronavirus safety measures is unacceptable.
President Biden visited a Washington, D.C. middle school Friday morning, delivering a special offer.
For students here at Brookland, once you all get vaccinated, you're invited to a special visit at the White House.
Vaccinations are a key part of the COVID strategy that the president laid out Thursday. The tough new measures mostly target unvaccinated Americans.
We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost all of us.
Companies with more than 100 employees will be required to ensure workers are vaccinated or get tested weekly. Businesses that don't comply could face a $14,000 fine per violation. Weekly testing is not an option for federal employees and contractors. President Biden signed an executive order requiring them to be vaccinated or they could be fired. The measures are already drawing political fire, with some Republican governors and lawmakers calling the president's move unconstitutional. The Republican National Committee says it'll sue.
Have at it.
South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster denounced the new mandates, tweeting, "Rest assured, we will fight them to the gates of hell to protect the liberty and livelihood of every South Carolinian." At the same time, he's urging residents to get vaccinated.
The vaccine is readily available, and that is the best thing that we know to do to protect the people.
And starting today, fines are doubling for anyone refusing to wear a mask while flying, going up to $3,000 for repeat offenders. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Democratic Congressman Don Beyer also introduced a bill on Thursday that would require either proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test for domestic travel on airlines and Amtrak. Governor Asa Hutchinson is responding to this. He says that while he fully supports continued efforts to increase vaccination rates, quote, "Federal government mandates on private businesses are not the right answer," end quote. The governor goes on to advocate for protecting the private sector from government overreach. You can find that full statement and reaction from other Arkansas leaders right now on thv-at-noon.com. Several people have struggled with COVID-19 symptoms long after their first diagnosis. In fact, many have. They are called COVID-19 long haulers. Thanks to new UAMS research, they could find some relief. A team of doctors from different departments inside the hospital started the research back in February. After taking blood samples from patients who had been infected with COVID-19 and patients who had not, they found a difference. They found the source. It was an antibody. It shows up weeks after the initial infection and attacks the immune system. And that could be the reason people are suffering for so long.
There's so many symptoms and so many people that seem to be afflicted by it, And if we can find the mechanism and find a way to treat it, that's going to be a tremendous improvement for a lot of people in terms of the quality of their life.
Researchers are hoping for close to 1,000 patients for their study, and it should start next month. And that is not the only thing researchers are keeping an eye on. Across the country, more states are now reporting a new variant of COVID-19. Now officials with the Arkansas Department of Health are keeping an eye on it in our state. According to the department, there are now 5 reported cases of that new variant called the Mu variant. Dr. Jennifer Dillahay says they're watching it closely, but they don't want people to take their attention away from the Delta variant.
Is more infectious or causes more severe disease, and none of that has been shown yet for the Mu variant, but it certainly has for the Delta variant.
Dr. Dillahay there says that there's no evidence to prove that that new variant is resistant to the vaccine or monoclonal antibodies. So the best line of defense, she says, and just reiterates, is that vaccine. The U.S. Department of Justice is suing the state of Texas over its new abortion law. About 24 clinics there have already stopped abortion services. Omar Villafranca reports from Dallas.
The DOJ's suit puts constitutionality at the center of the argument. Now, the law, also known as SB 8, bans abortions after around 6 weeks, which is before many women know they are pregnant, and it makes no exceptions for victims of rape, sexual abuse, or incest. It also puts enforcement in the hands of citizens by allowing anyone to sue people who help women get an abortion, such as doctors or clinical staff, even drivers. Attorney General Merrick Garland argues in the suit that SB 8 infringes on constitutional rights and longstanding court precedent. Now, the Supreme Court recently declined to block the law, but that ruling didn't address its constitutionality, which is what a federal judge will decide in this suit. Governor Greg Abbott also had a statement on the suit, and he said, quote, he is confident that the courts will uphold and protect that right to life. Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Dallas.